What's going on, WWE fans? You're watching The Ring Report, where the wrestling never stops. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's break it down. The Ring flanked by Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory. Heyman reveled in his strategic brilliance, praising Theory as the perfect enforcer, the culmination of his manipulative genius. Theory nodded along, his familiar smirk in place, giving the impression of loyalty and ambition aligned with the Vision's goals. The audience sensed that something was amiss, as months of storytelling had primed viewers for chaos. Heyman's meticulous planning and apparent control were about to collide with an unforeseen variable. Theory's true allegiance, carefully concealed, would upend everything, transforming a story of dominance and strategic supremacy into a shocking tale of betrayal, manipulation, and the unforeseen consequences of overconfidence. Austin Theory's hidden allegiance for months. Heyman believed he had recruited a flawless agent, ambitious, talented, and supposedly loyal to the Vision. Theory's presence seemed to validate every one of his plans, his integration into the inner circle, a symbol of control. But the truth was far more complex. Theory had been a Trojan horse all along, strategically placed to serve Seth Rollins' longer game. Heyman's miscalculation lay in assuming loyalty could be bought with power and influence, overlooking the possibility that Theory's ambition might extend beyond immediate gain. This revelation reframed months of narrative, showing how perception and trust can be manipulated. The young star's apparent obedience masked his true mission, transforming him from a subordinate to an invisible agent of upheaval, capable of destabilizing the Vision from within. Heyman's arrogance unmasked. Paul Heyman's confidence had always been his strongest asset and his greatest vulnerability. Standing in the ring, detailing plans to dismantle Cody Rhodes's and secure dominance, he exuded control and foresight. Yet the arrogance that allowed him to dominate mentally and strategically blinded him to the internal threat. He failed to account for the subtle possibility that Theory's loyalty might belong elsewhere, that the very instrument he thought secured his power could be used against him. Heyman's miscalculation underscores a recurring WWE narrative. Those who underestimate subtle strategic manipulation often pay the highest price. By focusing on surface loyalty and tangible influence, he ignored the deeper, hidden currents that Seth Rollins had expertly engineered. The calm before the reveal. As Heyman continued to outline his next moves, Theory's smirk evolved from passive acknowledgement to a knowing, sharp glance toward the entrance ramp. The tension in the arena became palpable. Months of planning, scheming, and subtle narrative foreshadowing converged in a single, silent moment. The audience, aware that long-term storytelling often rewards patience, could sense that a revelation was imminent. Every line, every gesture became freighted with significance. The juxtaposition of Heyman's confidence with Theory's subtle signaling emphasized the dramatic irony. The man who seemed most powerful was unaware that his entire strategy had been compromised from within. This set the stage for a moment that would reshape Raw's narrative landscape. Seth Rollins' strategic mastery. The arena erupted as Seth Rollins appeared, walking to the ring with a calm, deliberate stride. His demeanor contrasted sharply with the frantic energy usually associated with surprise entrances. This was a man whose plan had come to fruition. Rollins' strategy had begun months prior, during a period of injury and recovery, when he recognized Heyman's need for a controllable agent. By positioning Theory within the Vision, he created an invisible threat capable of unraveling Heyman's dominance from the inside. This orchestration demonstrates a level of foresight rarely seen, blending long-term planning with subtle manipulation. Rollins' ability to execute a strategic betrayal underscores his intelligence and adaptability, transforming Raw into a narrative of espionage, suspense, and high-stakes drama. Theory's moment of revelation. Austin. Theory, once perceived as a loyal enforcer, stepped forward to seize the microphone, shifting the arena's dynamic instantly. His tone was measured, casual, almost conversational, but every word carried weight. He confronted Heyman directly, exposing the truth. The loyalty he had feigned belonged not to the Vision, but to Rollins. Theory's transformation from subordinate to double agent crystallized months of subtle storytelling into a single, explosive moment. The revelation reframed every interaction, every backstage maneuver, and every segment involving the Vision. This moment illustrated the potency of well-constructed long-term narrative, where character development, strategic positioning, and audience expectation converge to create maximum dramatic impact. The shattering of the Vision. Heyman's smug expression faltered as Theory revealed the betrayal, exposing the fragility of his perceived control. The Vision, which had dominated Raw for weeks, suddenly appeared vulnerable, its foundation undermined by the very person deemed most loyal. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed's presence could not offset the shock of internal compromise. The narrative emphasized that dominance in WWE relies as much on perception and trust as on raw strength or strategy. The Vision's unraveling serves as a reminder that even the most imposing factions are susceptible to infiltration, deception, and carefully executed long-term manipulation. This moment reset the power dynamics of Raw, creating new opportunities for tension, rivalry, and unexpected developments. Audience and locker room impact. The audience reaction mirrored the magnitude of the revelation, with shock, disbelief, and excitement blending into a collective acknowledgement of storytelling brilliance. Fans recognized the payoff of months of narrative setup, while the locker room, both in storyline and in perception, would be forced to react. Every superstar previously aligned with the Vision, every opponent who had calculated their strategy around Heyman's dominance, now had to reassess their position. This ripple effect demonstrates WWE's capacity to intertwine audience engagement, character development, and backstage narrative in a way that enhances tension and investment across multiple levels of the show. Psychological and strategic implications. The reveal underscored the importance of psychological warfare in WWE. Heyman's reliance on apparent loyalty made him blind to deeper manipulations, while Rollins' orchestration highlighted the power of subtle, strategic influence. By embedding a trusted agent within the enemy faction, Rollins turned perception against Heyman, allowing narrative control without direct confrontation. This strategy shifts the focus from physical dominance to mental acuity, emphasizing planning, foresight, and adaptability. Characters, storylines, and audience expectations are all impacted, as the Vision's authority becomes increasingly fragile and the threat of internal sabotage looms over future Raw events, setting the stage for a new era. With the double cross exposed, Raw enters a new chapter defined by uncertainty, strategy, and shifting alliances. Heyman's credibility is shaken, the Vision's dominance compromised, and Rollins' influence is strengthened by the masterful execution of a long-term plan. Austin Theory emerges as a pivotal figure, bridging factions and altering expectations. This storyline demonstrates how careful character placement, layered plotting, and suspenseful payoff can elevate WWE storytelling, creating moments that resonate with fans long after the episode concludes. The revelation redefines the power dynamics on Raw and sets the stage for future conflicts, rivalries, and strategic maneuvering that will drive the narrative forward in compelling and unpredictable ways.